Hello and welcome to another edition of the Munce Report, where we're going to preview a big weekend of racing for the team again. Runners at the Sunshine Coast tomorrow and also Ipswich on Sunday. But first of all, joining us from the stables, welcome to Chris and young Corey, the dynamic duo. How's things, guys?
Hello, Adam. How are you, mate?
Yeah. All good at my end. And Corey, thanks for joining us. Obviously, a special guest on the show. For those that don't know, obviously you play a leading role. I guess you're Chris's right-hand man, along with Alan Russell. So just tell us a little bit about your background. You've obviously got an interesting set of qualifications, but in recent years you've helped out the family business and become more and more involved.
Yeah, well, I guess it all started after school. I went to uni and I finished my pilot's license, and I was looking for work and it was struggling to find a bit of work. So I thought I'd help out the family with the business, and here we are now, a few years later, and not looking back. It's fantastic.
And obviously, you've just seeing you on the ground in recent years, you've taken more of a leadership, and obviously you've always been in and around racing throughout your life. But how are you enjoying sort of taking that step up and being a senior figure within the stable?
Yeah, well, I guess I've always grown up around horses and riding, and Dad being a jockey, and I guess like everyone, we all start from the bottom, mucking out boxes, waters, and I guess as time progresses and the natural progression into a senior role here, helping out Dad and Al as well, and yeah, it's been interesting, but we're here.
Very good. And Chris, obviously the training partnerships in racing, they're becoming, very common, not between necessarily family members, but just, the nature of the beast with everything that's involved in training, the business side of things, the media, the communications with owners. What are the chances in years to come that we might see a training partnership between the two of you?
Well, Corey's picked up really quick. He's always been very enthusiastic from when he first started, which, and to be honest, surprised me a little bit. I didn't think Corey. I'd see the day where Corey'd be wanting to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to get to work. He always used to like his bed when he was a young fella, but he's really picked it up quickly, and he's really surprised me with how quick he's picked up things with horses. He's very good horseman in picking up injuries and sorenesses and just little things that a lot of people miss. Corey does have a very good eye for. So in fairness to him, he's on the right path, and he's doing a very good job.
Yeah, it must make you proud, obviously, as a father. How do you find that aspect? Obviously, the whole family's involved. Kathy's involved with the administration side of things, and obviously Caitlin, although she's had a stint in the UK, has previously worked with the stable. How do you find, honestly, how does it go with the whole family involvement?
Well, they always say families shouldn't work together, and there's probably some truth to that. But I think between Corey and I, he's got the right temperament. I'm probably a bit fiery, whereas Corey's the buffer. He's quite calm and keeps a level head when I fire up and get a bit cranky at different things. But it's we all work together. We've all got the same final goal, and everybody puts in 200%.
So Corey's thrown to the damn side. Is that what you're saying? He's sort of is that?
No, I didn't say that, Adam. I didn't say that,
Adam. Very good. All right. Well, let's get into the preview. But before we do that, I guess we must recap Scathing's impressive win on Saturday. Obviously, he's now gone back-to-back wins this preparation, and in the famous Henderson colours, which you wore to victory on Descarado in the Caulfield Cup. He's going along very nicely, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, Adam. He's really going gangbusters, this horse. He's just had an easy week since he won the other day. He gets himself pretty worked up, and he's a bit of a hot horse, but certainly he's a very, very good galloper. We probably won't run him now until the Gold Coast Guineas. I'll probably just wait and run him. It'll be coming back to 1,200 metres, but I just think that the way he's at the moment, spacing his runs probably more beneficial to him, and he can go from there to the Fred Best. He'll run in. That'll probably be his next 2 starts in the immediate future, and then obviously it depends on how he's going. If his form's good and he's racing well, we'll probably go to a couple of better races. But if not, well, he can always come back to a class 3 or 4. So he's got plenty of options available to him, but we'll get him back next Monday and then just poke along to the Gold Coast Guineas.
Yeah, exciting times ahead with him. And speaking of feature racing, I noticed there was one of the stable stars returned to work this week, BOOMSARA. He's obviously a bit woolly, and he's been out in the paddock for a while. How's he going, and what are you thinking as far as sort of long-range plans with him?
Yeah, well, he's enjoyed his time off. He looks great, BOOMSARA. He's put on a lot of condition. He is a bit woolly. He sort of, it was a bit early in the season for him to get such a long coat, but he's back. He enjoys stable life. He enjoys getting pampered and looked after. And nothing really set in stone for BOOMSARA. Obviously, we won't have him ready for the Winter Carnival, but after that, hopefully, with these restrictions lifted, we can look to either go to Sydney or Melbourne or something like that if his form warrants it.
Very good. All right, well, let's get into the preview for Saturday at the Sunshine Coast. The stable has 6 runners engaged there, including the highly promising 3-year-old Stampy. Race 1 is a maiden plate over 1,400 metres, where Rosera is second up off the back of a nice first up run over 1,200. Corey, I know you've done a bit of work with Rosera. What are your thoughts? Do you think she'll be better suited by the step up to 1,400?
Yeah, she's a lovely filly. She's got a really good nature about her, which will take her far. She worked quite strong on Tuesday, and the natural progression up to 1,400 there, she's probably one of the better maidens going around.
Yeah, okay, very good. Race 2, for the 2-year-olds, it's a maiden plate, and Captain's Oath, who's a 2-year-old by Rothsay, makes his debut for the stable. You've also got Dash for Dreams, who's an emergency there, Chris.
Yeah, well, Captain's Oath, he'll run. He's a really nice horse, this guy. Still got a little bit to learn as far as his race trade goes. But ability-wise, I'm not concerned about. He's got loads of ability. He's trialled up. He's had 2 trials now, but he's just one of these horses that just kept on improving. So from a good draw tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised to see him run a cheeky race. I see he's quite big odds at the moment, but if he happened to get the right sort of run, I wouldn't be surprised to see him run a very cheeky race. Dash for Dreams, she's drawn well also, but she is in at Ipswich on Sunday as well. So probably leaning towards Ipswich at this stage with her. She's drawn barrier 1 there. It's probably just a nice race to kick her off in out there. So I'd say she won't run. At this stage, I would be doubtful she would run on Saturday. She'd probably had Ipswich on Sunday.
Very good, bit of a push there. One to keep an eye on, Captain's Oath. Race 3, it's a really hot race for the 2-year-olds here, where KAVAK resumes, taking on the likes of Got a Kiss and the new kid on the block in Isotope. What do you both sort of make of the race? There's lots of different form lines here, obviously with KAVAK and Got a Kiss. You know, they both won those early season 2-year-old races, and then you've got Isotope emerging. What are your thoughts on him and the race?
Well, KAVAK, you've got to respect him. First up run here at Eagle Farm, but I think certainly commands respect. And the blinkers are off for the first time. He ran in the millions with them on. And he looks fantastic, but obviously you certainly do have to respect the short price favourite and OJ's horse.
Chris, just with KAVAK, obviously he had a great first preparation, culminating in the Magic Millions, where he was probably at the end of his preparation. But how have you seen him, I guess, change, or have you seen any change in him this preparation?
KAVAK's always been a pretty precocious 2-year-old, Adam, right from day one. He's always been very forward and willing. Had a trial on Tuesday. There was a few horses given searching trials around him, whereas he was sort of there just to have a nice gallop. And there'll be a lot of improvement come out of the trial. I do think the fact that tomorrow on Saturday is going to be a pretty strong run 1,000-metre 2-year-old race, and whether he's quite forward enough for that, I'm not too sure. But he needs a gallop tomorrow to get him tuned up properly for the other better races coming along. Very
nice. Well, it'll be interesting to see how he goes. And another one will be interesting to see how he goes is Stampy, who's in race 6 for the 3-year-olds, stepping up to the 1,600 metres. You did have Smart Meteor entered here, but he's going to be saved for another day.
Yeah, I think with Smart Meteor, I'll just wait and I'll just go straight to the Daybreak Lover with him. I didn't feel the need to really run him tomorrow. The option was there, but I just didn't want to risk running him and not have him right for the better races over the winter coming up. So I won't run him. But Stampy's in terrific form. I mean, he's just absolutely low flying at the moment. I think first time at a mile, I suppose there'll always be a gamble against him first run at a mile. But I think the way that he performed last start over 13.50, Justin rode him tremendously well the other day, and he's got a good feel for the horse now. And I'm sure he'll give him a good ride.
and he's got a wide barrier to contend with also, just to add another little variable into the mix.
Well, that's no surprise, Adam. I always get wide barriers. I don't draw good ones.
Well, we'll move on to Ipswich on Sunday. Race 2, you mentioned Dash for Dreams potentially being saved for that one, and that looks like where she'll line up.
I think so at this stage. She'll support Blinkers on Sunday for the first time. I actually wasn't disappointed with her first run, this filly. I thought she went very, very well, but she was still a bit new to it all, the racing side of it. The penny probably hasn't properly dropped, but I think from a good draw with Blinkers on Sunday, she'll probably race a bit more prominent, and her work's been good enough to suggest in a race like this she'd be more than competitive.
And Corey, you got Royal Sheen, was entered for 2 races, but will go to the Class 1 over 1350 metres. Give us an insight into Royal Sheen.
Yeah, Royal Sheen, he'll probably line up on Sunday. His work the other day on Tuesday was pretty good. He's back to 1350 after a little freshen up, and I'd probably see him there in the finish.
Very good. Okay, we'll keep an eye on him. And then also, so the last runner for the weekend is Gwendoline Rose, who takes her place in a benchmark 68 over 1200 metres. And Chris, she's got the tongue tie on for the first time.
Yeah, and she's coming back in distance too, Adam. I've had a bit of a suspicion this filly. Number one, I don't think she can get out to a trip at all. I think she's more of a short course horse. The main key to her is getting her on top of the ground. She just needs a dry track. Every time we put her on a track with a bit of give in it, she's just absolutely hopeless on it. But you put her on a firm track and she improves out of sight. So she'll be one that you wouldn't be surprised to see a reversal of form with the way that she's been racing, purely because we get her on top of the ground and back in distance. I'd be certainly, the way she looks and the way she's been working, the race that she's in on Sunday wouldn't be beyond her.
And speaking of the track, obviously this is the redeveloped Ipswich track. So what are your thoughts on just having seen how it's raced so far?
I thought it raced really well the other day. I mean, it was pretty fair. Every horse seemed to get its chance to win if they were good enough. So it actually looked quite good.
Very good, guys. All right, well, thanks for joining us. Thanks for some insight into the weekend runners, and fingers crossed the winning run continues.
Good on you, Adam. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Adam.